and we're going to keep it there in the Lone Star State with all that increased moisture that we've been seeing. The floodwaters have really been starting to rise, and this is something that we've seen since early in the month, Ari. So the Texas wildlife, they have been displaced during this event.
Yes, Stephen Lang, he's the regional director of the Wildlife Division at the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. He joins us now to break it all down. And hey, thanks for joining us, first of all. First question I have for you, have you seen an increase in wildlife calls since all this flooding started?
We have. I mean, obviously, the floodwaters have displaced lots of different types of wildlife. I mean, this may include snakes, turtles, armadillos, skunks, raccoons. But it might include larger animals such as deer, even alligators. And most of these are being seen on the roads as they're trying to escape flooding in the rivers. So if you're motorists out there, make sure you watch for this, especially at night along raised roads and right-of-ways near bridges.
And Stephen, we've seen how impactful this flooding can be early in the month, and now we have another round that's underway. You're probably already hearing it and seeing it outside right now. How does your team prep for something like this?
Well, you know, ahead of time, it's always people first. We move people and equipment to higher ground. We close access to recreation areas and key locations. We've got staff monitoring rainfall and flood gauges throughout East Texas because many of our state parks and wildlife management areas are associated with rivers and lakes. We've already closed portions of 7 wildlife management areas, and this includes the entire Sam Houston National Forest, primarily due to road damage. And our game wardens are always on call for swiftwater rescues and evacuations if necessary, because earlier this week, we were just within a few inches from the flood of record on the lower Trinity River west of Houston. And that doesn't include, you know, today's additional rains.
So one thing I'm kind of curious about is, can you think of any examples of specific species and how they adapt to survive all this kind of heavy rain and flooding type of stuff?
Well, you know, wildlife move naturally just along river courses and will evacuate from the floodwaters. Flooding is a natural part of this ecosystem, so the bottomland hardwood forest and their associated wildlife are uniquely adapted to the environment. However, because this has been such a prolonged flooding event, wildlife will seek shelter in unique places, so they will possibly move up into urban areas or near someone's home. It's important to just make sure that you watch out because they could appear in various places, especially around your home.
And it can be unexpected, right? Stephen, we actually had our local meteorologist, I should say correspondent, Katie Burns. She was out, and where she was reporting, there was a gator just kind of lurking about 50 feet away from her. She didn't know. And she's like, all right, we got to move location. So do you have any tips for folks at home? Let's say there is, you know, an animal that's displaced and they end up on their property. Who do they call? Do they call you?
Well, one thing we want people to know is that during these events, because human safety is first, please do not call law enforcement, do not call the sheriff's office or the game wardens. They can call Parks and Wildlife, the Wildlife Division. We can assist with that. We try to, you know, spread information through public media requests such as this, or we have information available on our website, or just words that we, you know, things we pass mouth to mouth in our local communities. We do have biologists that are assigned to different counties, and very often they're immersed in the communities, potentially assisting if they need it.
All right. Hey, Stephen Lane, we wish you the best through this next round, and we know that you guys are well prepared since, you know, you've been on it. You've already seen it this month, so it's not going to catch you by surprise. Stephen Lane, Regional Director for the Wildlife Division at the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, thank you for being with us here on Fox Weather.
Thanks, guys.